Hey guys, Jay here. Sorry for the late video, I just got home a little bit ago. Worked at the food truck all day today. Well, not all day. I helped through the breakfast rush and the lunch rush. Then I come home, checked on my mom. But that place was busy. That's what I showed up and they're all looking at me. Hey Jay, what are you doing here? Well, since my sister's not here, I guess I'll be working with you guys. So I said, quit doing what you're doing. Listen to me or you're all fired. No, I told her, I said, why are you so quiet in here? And Jessica said, well, your sister don't let us turn the radio on anymore. I said, hell with that. I said, crank that radio on. So we had the oldies playing. My sister's such a prude anymore. Everywhere I worked, we always had a radio going. Keep you uplifted, keep you moving quick. You know, it keeps your mind off feeling like you're getting behind with the orders and stuff. You just groove and you're just doing what you're doing. I said, I worked the grill today. I look at them Japanese guys on the grill, flinging shit everywhere. Oh yeah, oh yeah. Now, when I work, I like to have fun. Especially in that situation, because when you get rushed like that, it's like you're looking at tickets and you're talking to each other. I mean, we don't have the radio blaring or anything, but we're talking to each other. Like, ticket number 1 comes in, and you got ticket number 2, and you got ticket number 3. So you're looking at the tickets. I'm looking at what goes on the grill, looking at what goes in the deep fryer, looking for fries, anything like that, and you get them off. Like I said, if I got 2 hamburgers on the grill and I need a large fry, boys were working the fryer. I said, I need a large fry down. So the next order, I said, I need 2 more large fries down, which would be a steak hoagie. And we just, like I said, run it like that. It's a hell of a lot easier. But, no, I sat up there through the lunch, but they told me that my sister was thinking about saving the chicken wings and stuff and taking them down, putting them in a cooler and rewarming them in the morning. I said, I'm going to tell you all one thing right now. Fuck no. You don't do that. I said, I don't care what she says, what she thinks. You can kill somebody doing that bullshit. Make them sick or kill them. I said, I said, I can't believe she was saying that shit. And they said, well, she was talking about the side salads and everything. Then I find out she cut the coleslaw and the mac and cheese for the fish dinners. So I put everything back on. I said, the hell with that. I said, everything comes. I said, I made up the menu. I taught everybody how to cook everything. My sister can't cook a damn rock. I said, so therefore she has no say-so in it. She owns half the business, sure. But she don't know how to cook shit. I said, I ain't dealing with that. Since she makes somebody sick, I'm going to jail. Because the licenses are in my name. Jessica said, well, I'm sorry. She said, she said, you got to worry about getting fired. I said, you don't have to worry about getting fired. The hell with that. I said, as soon as this rush ends, I said, I'm calling her. So I called her and I lit up on her. Told her, I said, you want to save old food and try to fix it for the next day? I said, you're going to end up killing somebody. She said, well, why people have turkey for 3 days in a row? I said, it's in the fucking privacy of your own home. You make yourself sick, it's one thing. You go to somebody's business and they make food for you and you make them sick, it's another. It's a lawsuit. And she said, all right, I don't care, do what you want to do. I said, well, obviously, because you've been doing what you want to do. I said, you cut out the mac and cheese, the coleslaw, and everything else for the fish dinners. And she said, because I think it's a waste. I said, how comes every time the fish dinner sold, the coleslaw and mac and cheese went with them? Just like the chicken dinners. That's another thing she knocked off, some mashed potatoes and gravy for the chicken dinners. And you got coleslaw or mac and cheese with whatever you want. In other words, she's skimping. And I told her, you want to continue, I'm not doing it that way. I'm not going to skimp. If I'm going to do that, I'd set a fucking hot dog stand up on the end of the road. She said, I got you, little brother, do what you want. I said, well, these people, I said, you leave these kids alone. I said, they told me that you wanted to do it. And she said, I don't have a problem with anybody. She said, I was trying to save money. I said, no, what you're going to do is get somebody killed. I said, you don't know enough about cooking to make decisions like that. And she said, I got you. Then we'll continue doing what we were doing. I said, well, it wasn't as if we weren't making any money. I said, you already got a ton of money. I said, you're always looking at the bottom line and seeing how much more you can make. I said, screw that shit. Them kids need a job. These people need to eat good food. And that's it. We make money every month off of that food truck. Once we pay all the bills, taxes and everything, pay the wages and pay the insurance and everything, we still make money. But the thing with something like that is you start skimping on shit, people aren't going to come back. That's what I told her. I said, you do a chicken wing, redo a chicken wing the second day. I said, you might as well give it to the customer and let him pull the fucking meat off of and eat the bone. Because the bone's going to be easier to eat. She said, I got you. I won't do it. So you're not going to do it. Because either I'll buy your half out or I'm done completely. I said, I'll take my name off the license and leave it up to you. She said, I'm on vacation right now. I'm not going to do anything anymore. It's up to you. Do what you want to do. I said, good, goodbye. And I hang up. Then I got home, took care of my mom. I had to run out and get her ice cream. Then I get a call from one of my customers. Got water run over their floor, their faucet, their kitchen blew off. So they're panicking, water flying everywhere. I said, where's your hot water tank at? And he says, right out in the garage. I said, go out on the top of the hot water tank, there should be 2 valves on them. Which I know there is because I put it in. I said, pull both of them straight down and I'll shut your water off. So he pulled them down, he shut it down. But he said, you think you can come out tonight and fix this? I said, what kind of faucet do you have on your kitchen sink? He said, just a regular old faucet. He said, that's how it blew apart. I said, how much you want to spend on a faucet? He said, all I want is a regular faucet. He said, put out hot water, cold water. That's fine with us. I said, all right. I said, give me a little bit. I'll run down Lowe's and I'll be out. So I went out there, did that for them, kept the water back on. Now I'm back home, tired as hell. But I got to work at the food truck again tomorrow. Yeah, but I let them listen to the radio. Like I said, keeps you upbeat. Nobody wants to hear anybody screaming in there the whole time. I need this, I need that, I need this, I need that. You just put the orders up and have them numbered and let everybody look at them, and it'll run fine. I'm used to dealing with rushes and shit at restaurants. My sister isn't. She never really, well, she worked at a restaurant once as a waitress, and she worked at McDonald's with me midnights. But that was it. But like I said, after that, I went into cooking and everything. And I worked at a high-end restaurant in New Stanton. Not gonna name the name of it, but that's where you, like you said, you got a big party coming, like a wedding party or something. And like the church, I had to make all the mashed potatoes at one time. But they have a wedding party coming in, everything for a rehearsal dinner, blah, blah, blah. You got to have everything done, everything ready to plate, and make sure all their food goes out at the same time. And you're talking about 60, 70 people. So, I don't know. Jay ain't the brightest bulb in the box, but sure as hell ain't going to kill anybody with cooking. But I'm going to be back. I'm going back at 3 o'clock in the morning again. Meet Brian up there, and gives me something to do to keep my mind off of things. Like I said, I get up and go out and sit with my dad's urn and talk with him. But I just need to keep moving for now. Alright guys, well I'm going to get going. I love you all. Thank you all for everything. Your nice comments and everything. Sylvia, make sure you keep checking back in, dummy. And Melody, I'll give you a call in a little bit as soon as I get settled in. But yeah, I appreciate all of you. Like I said, more than you know. Come on here and talk to each other, have a good conversation. Yeah, I get pissed off sometimes, so what? That's just me. But it's nothing against you guys. Alright guys, so I love y'all. God bless. Please like, subscribe, share. Don't forget the damn likey button, Betty. I'll see you on the flip side. Bye-bye.